You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all, never lasting. Motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions.
This is Alethea Tucker, I should say Dr. Alethea Tucker, and she is leveling up the podcast on CTR Media Network.
That's me. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks to her, my podcast is doing great.
350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all, never lasting. Motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Talent Show. Let's talk about it.
Hello. I am so excited today. My guest is Melissa Deely. I am so excited to have her. And before I pull her up, I have a little video that I'm going to share about her, and then I'm going to bring her on.
Would you like to feel like you did in your 20s again? Wake up full of energy, no more aches and pains, brain fog or hot flashes, no gas or bloating, and no unexplained weight gain. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. These are all signs that your body is out of balance and talking to you, asking you to do something different. And these are not signs of aging, which is probably what you think they are. As an integrative health practitioner and owner of Your Guided Health Journey, I can help you discover your toxic load and remove it, and discover the imbalances in your body through the use of functional medicine labs that get mailed directly to your home. And then I provide you with a personalized wellness protocol and guide you in bringing your body back into balance, at which point it will heal itself exactly as it's supposed to do, just like it heals a cut finger or a broken arm. Growing older is inevitable. Feeling old is your decision. What will you choose? I'd love to invite you to book a complimentary 30-minute consult with me to discover how you can literally turn back time and eliminate your symptoms, extend your lifespan and health span, and achieve all you want to in your career and life. Simply click the book button at the top of my website at yourguidedhealthjourney.com. Health is your true wealth. Thank you.
Yes, health is your true wealth. Yes, I am so excited. Let me pull her up. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Hello, Vera.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
That is wonderful. And I am going to share a little bit about you. And I'm loving this music actually, but I'm going to turn it off. I am going to share a little bit about who you are, and then we're just going to have a conversation.
Sounds
Melissa,
great.
and I love what you said about growing old is inevitable. So we're going to talk about that as well. But Melissa Dealing, as your friendly toxin slayer and integrative health practitioner, Melissa Dealing gives you the know-how, tools, and customized support to release the physical, mental, and emotional toxins that are bogging you down, causing dis-ease inside your body and stealing your longevity. It's your choice to take control now, to live the life you dream of. Through the process, Melissa is dedicated to helping her clients discover the root cause of their health issues and truly heal while detoxing their physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Melissa's business is 100% virtual, and she works with the entire English-speaking world. All right, all right, all right. Yes. Well, Melissa, let's first talk about getting old is inevitable. You said that, and that is so true. But in addition to getting old as being inevitable, it doesn't mean that we have to act old, feel old, or any of that kind of stuff. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the floor before we even start talking about that. And I do have a poem I'm going to share, but I'll share it later because I want you to just take a few minutes and tell us who you are and why you have such a passion for what it is that you do.
So I used to actually be in the corporate world, and I had a great job in the corporate world until one day, big fish bought little fish, and I was let go with an hour to clear out my desk and no word of thanks. And in that moment, I knew three things. I was never working for someone else again. Whatever I did next, I wanted it to be more of service to the humanity and the planet. I looked at it as a chance at a second career in my life, and that I had no idea what it was going to be, but I was open to being guided. And guided I was. First of all, I was introduced to a company that specialized in brain health supplementation. And I thought, well, that's really interesting because I know I use my brain 24/7, and nobody's ever told me that I can do more to support the health of my brain. And I also knew that over here, there was near epidemic rates of Alzheimer's and dementia. And then over here, I had a grandmother who was 99 years old at the time, fully cognitively functioning, living by herself, caring for herself. So I want to get on her path. And what did I need to do that? I knew I had good genes, but something made me ask, is that enough? And I started comparing her life to my life. And her life is that she was born in Christchurch, New Zealand, in the bottom corner of the world, before World War II, before all the advent of the 144,000 toxins that have been introduced since World War II. and growing all their own food on their property. I was raised in Tokyo, Japan, which was an incredible life. However, in the 1970s and early 80s, it was the time of manufacturing plants spewing out toxins into the atmosphere. And so right away, I knew that I was way more toxic than my grandmother, and that if I wanted to get on her path, I needed to do more to support my health, to release the toxins from my body. And so I started learning about the brain, nutrition for the brain, as well as toxicity in our body and brain and the impact that can have on our health. And not long after that, my oldest daughter got a concussion in her first grade 12 soccer game of the season. And she had just started using this brain supplementation. And she didn't have the cognitive ability, though, to go to appointments with practitioners and then come home and tell me what they said she should do. Because, of course, the healing doesn't happen at the appointment. It happens between the appointments. And so I wasn't working full time. So I went to the appointments with her. 2 months after that, I was driving to Vancouver and I got a phone call from the high school that my younger daughter had a suspected concussion from grade 8 gym class.
Oh my God.
In that moment, I looked out my windshield, across the water, up at the heavens and said, really? This is how you show me my path? Stop taking out my children. Because now I had 2 very different concussions in both daughters, and now I'm going to both sets of appointments. And the good news is they both fully healed. What I learned from all of that was people need more support on their healing journey. The body doesn't heal in a stressed out state. And if you're trying to figure it all out on your own, you're stressed out because there's so much information out there and you don't know what's right and what's not. And that just leaves you in that stressed out state. And perhaps you're going from doctor to doctor to doctor who's saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. The lab tests say everything's normal, or it's all in your head, or we can't help you. That causes stress as well. So I realized there was a need for more support for people on their healing journey. And around the same time, I was invited to work at a holistic clinic that was opening to help more people recover from concussions. We have some amazing practitioners working in the field of concussion where I live. However, nobody was addressing the nutritional piece of it. And so I wanted to do that. I wanted to help. Here was my chance to be more of service. However, I couldn't get insurance to work there because I didn't have any certification or qualification. So that drove me back to school. I called a friend who was a life coach. And life coaching had been bouncing around in the back of my head ever since I'd been let go, but it hadn't landed. But now I thought, better do this. So I called him and said, where did you do your life coaching training? And he just said, you don't need to be a life coach. You need to be a health coach. And I went, what? What's that? I'd never heard that term before. And again, I considered that another gift from the universe directing me on my path. And I started researching health coaching schools. That evening, I found one that I absolutely aligned with. And by the next week, I'd jumped in, found my passion, never looked back. And the more I started learning, I realized, wow, I'm in my 40s. I don't know this about my own body. Why don't I know this about my own body? Oh, yeah, because I've been busy building a career and being a mom and being a wife and, running the soccer team and running Girl Guides, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I realized, so if I don't know this, there's probably millions of other people that don't know this. And what if I shared this? And so I kept learning and I kept sharing because people need to know and they don't necessarily have easy access. They don't have time to go back to school like I did. And so that's what led me into the work that I do today. And I've just continued learning, continued adding to my certifications because this is my passion. This is my purpose. And the more I learn, the more I can help others.
That is amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. And the fact that you had 2 daughters that had concussions. And I want you to talk a little bit about this brain stuff. What is the supplement that one would take that you're promoting?
Well, the one that I was promoting back then is actually no longer available. It was a great product, but no longer available. However, there's another product now that's on the market through a company called Equilife, who I partner with, and it's called Daily Brain Support.
Okay.
And it's powerful to be able to know that we are feeding our brain what it truly needs, because we really do use it 24/7, right? And as we age, our guts might not be working properly. We may not be breaking down our food properly, getting the nutrients that we need, etc. And so if we're not getting the nutrients that we need in our body, we're also not getting them in our brain, right? And when the body has to break down food, it's much harder to get what we need versus having a supplement that's just in a capsule and the digestive system just needs to break down the capsule and then you get all of that goodness through the body, right? So yes, there's great brain food that people can have, but there's also supplementation simply because we do live in a world of depleted soil systems and unhappy guts. And that's the another area that I help people with is helping them heal their gut so that they can actually get the benefit from all of the food that they're eating. So that's literally called daily brain support from Equilife.
Okay, and let me ask you, how does Prevagen compare with that? Are you familiar with Prevagen?
I'm not actually. Is that a
okay.
pharmaceutical
It's
drug or?
And I actually have a bottle of it here. It's a brain food. It's called it improves memory.
Right.
And I was just wondering if you were familiar with it and how that might compare with what you're doing and what you have.
Right. And I'm not familiar with it. Of course, daily brain support also improves memory. It's also looking at improving mental clarity, reducing brain fog, etc., and improving blood flow to the brain so that we are also better able to get nutrition from the food that we're eating, etc. So yes, there are a number of brain supplements on the market today that weren't, 10 years ago, they didn't exist. But as the science is coming out now, people are starting to realize we do need to do more to optimize the health of our brain.
Absolutely. And this particular product is an over-the-counter product. And this show, everybody needs to hear what you have to say. Everybody. And so thank God that this show will be airing over and over and over again so that people can come in and chime in and listen and take heed to what it is that you're saying, because this is important.
It is
so important. And Darlene, she says, awesome. Thank you, Darlene, for being here. And there are people that are listening that we may not be able to identify because we don't capture everybody that's watching. So anyway, what I'm going to do, since you were talking about our guts and that impact, I want to share a poem right now, and then we're going to continue to talk. We are what we eat. Now, we eat food that is not good for us, need medicine for one condition that can be fatal to us. We are sick when we don't need to be. Open our eyes and see what we are doing to ourselves. We are what we eat, the food we put in our bodies, the food we put in our minds. There is a source where we can find all that we need to feed our body, mind, and soul. We are what we eat. We need more control than we may want to admit. We have more control than we may want to admit. Take heed and commit to controlling the diet that we feed our body, mind, and soul. Things can change. While God is in control of our lives, we control what we eat. And so, given that, and I know you work with the body, the mind, and the soul. So we're going to talk about all those things because they're all interrelated when talking about our health. People oftentimes think when you mention health or you're talking about health, you're talking about just the physical health, the foods we're eating, and that gut thing. When I was 19, I had colitis. And colitis is a nervous condition. So we can also talk about the stresses that can cause our guts to have major problems. And it's interesting because I grew up with all this stomach problems, constant stomach problems, primarily from stress. Recently, last year, I had some tests done and an x-ray done, and there was no indication that I had all those stomach problems. To me, that was amazing. And so talk a little bit more about the food that we need for our body, our mind, and our soul. Let's talk about all those things. And you can break it down whichever way you want to.
Well, I also want to talk about stress because you addressed colitis and know that the trigger was stress. And here's our reality in today's world. We live in a very stressed out world. Even before the pandemic, it was a stressed out world. And so we all look around and see everyone else stressed out and we normalize it and we think it's okay. And we just keep going. We are encouraged to push through and we shrink our hours of sleep so we can get one more thing done, etc. And what happens is people don't realize how stress is negatively impacting our health, our longer term health, and stealing our longevity. 95% of doctors' visits are due to stress. 60% of all disease is due to stress.
Yes.
And I've even had doctors, when I've posted that on social media, comment and go, I think it's even higher than that. Like that might be the official stat, but they're commenting that the 60% is low, right? So stress is a huge problem in our life in that it's impacting our health.
Yes.
And some of the physiology around that, because the way we feel does impact our physiology. People have probably seen the research that happy people live longer because their immune system is stronger, right?
Yes.
And depressed people tend to live shorter because their immune system is weaker. Well, stressed out people also live shorter because stress weakens our immune system. 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. And what's really happening is the stress is breaking down the health of our gut, which then weakens our immune system. And what stress does is it kills off the good bacteria in our gut. And that's what caused your colitis.
And you know, the word disease, and you broke it down in your bio, it's dis-ease.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. It's dis-ease. And people, you know, I had both my sisters, they both died from cancer, but both of them worried about everything and everybody. And I remember we had a three-way conversation, and when we were all three on the phone, and both of them almost simultaneously said, why can't we be more like Vera? She doesn't worry about anything. And my hope comes, you know, if you have faith and if you are walking according to your faith, then why are you worried?
Exactly.
Why are you worried? Either things are going to take care of themselves on their own, or if you can change it, change it. If you cannot change it, why are you worried about it?
Well, and here's where the whole science of epigenetics comes in. That's new science and really powerful for people to understand. So we used to believe, in what doctors were taught at medical school, is that your genetics dictate your health outcomes. If your father had heart disease, then you were at risk of heart disease. If your mother had breast cancer, you would get breast cancer. We've all heard that. If your mother and your sister has it, you're going to get it. I mean, women were encouraged to do mastectomies ahead of getting the cancer because of the familial history of it, right?
And I've had a niece that actually did that because of the history
and
of
the
breast
fear
cancer in our family.
The fear
and
that is coming from the medical industry, right? And what does fear do? Fear causes stress. Right? You have it running around in your mind, right? So what we now know from the science of epigenetics is that the genetic component of the risk of that disease is only 5 to 10%.
Wow.
And the rest of it is the lifestyle you live, the 90 to 95%. The lifestyle you live, the food you eat, coming back to what you were talking about, right? The toxic load in your body, because even when we try to eat healthy, we're still getting toxins in, right? Through our air, through our waterways, through our food, etc. We're putting them on our skin with the personal care products that we buy at the local Walgreens or Walmart, right? So all of that fills up the trash can of our body and creates inflammation. And then it's inflammation that will trigger the switch to turn on the gene that predisposes you to what your parents might have had. But that switch doesn't ever have to be turned on. If you know how to keep your inflammation levels down, if you know how to release your toxins, if you know how to choose wisely in terms of the food that you're eating and not be dependent on what the media tells you should be eating, which is all about the food industry making money at the expense of your health.
I want to comment. We've got a couple of comments coming in. Lisa Yvette Jones, she says, great topic indeed. Yes, it is. And please share it. so that other people can listen to what we're talking about. And then our fire is saying, you move your head up and down a lot. Yes, yes, I do. I'm sorry. It's
That
just a
might have been
natural.
me.
I'm so sorry. I probably will continue to do that. Oh, okay. And then she says, absolutely powerful. Yes, this is so important. We do not realize what we're doing to ourselves, with the stress, with the toxins that are already automatically in the air, in our foods, because so many times the foods are growing and all of the stuff that they put in our foods. I picked up a chicken breast that was the size of a turkey breast.
Right. The hormones. Feeding them the hormones so that they'll grow bigger so the farmer can make more money because they get paid by the weight of the bird.
Wow.
Those hormones get into your body. I work with a lot of women who have imbalanced hormones that are struggling with symptoms, of really severe PMS, long, heavy periods, periods too often, as well as menopausal women that are struggling with night sweats and hot flashes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because there's a lot of xenoestrogens in our world. So that's estrogens that mimic, our natural estrogen, except that it's coming in off personal care products and plastics and et cetera. And then we're getting in the hormones from what's being fed to the animals.
Yes.
So being
yes.
careful of the produce that you're buying and the animal food that you're buying.
Yes. And I want to comment, Lisa, she also says, and I do want to talk about this because she's absolutely right. Dairy and sugar. Sugar is poison to our systems.
It is.
It is poison.
Highly addictive.
Yes.
Highly addictive. So they put it in on purpose.
Yes.
Salt and sugar are added to foods on purpose because they know how addictive it is to keep us buying more to help their bottom line. Just like the chemicals they put in the food to increase the shelf life so that they have less wastage if it doesn't get purchased in time.
Yes.
But what are those chemicals doing to our body?
Exactly.
It is a great big human experiment.
Yes.
Because
And then
they do all these
little boy, I'm going to have to kind of interrupt sometimes.
No worries.
Okay. Little boys with boobs from the hormones. Yes. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It is crazy.
Exactly.
All right. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No worries. And then the more, just to add on that, the more adipose tissue that you have in your body, which is basically fat, the more estrogen you're generating in your body, even in men and boys, which then increases the chance of the boobs, right? So just coming back to all of that, epigenetics shows us how much control we have because we get to control our lifestyle. We get to control our environment. We get to choose to detox. We get to choose the food that we're eating. And when we don't listen to the ads on television, et cetera, right?
Yes.
And so that is what impacts our health outcomes, as well as what's going on right here. We carry so much power between our ears. Our conscious mind is only 10% of what's there. It's the unconscious mind that is so powerful that can access the other 90%. And where we put our focus is what we get, right?
Yes.
So your sisters who were always worrying, always stressed, potentially always worrying about cancer, literally could have made that cancer come on.
And yes, I love my sisters. They worried about everything and everybody, and we sometimes can't bear the weight of other people's problems, issues, or concerns because Correct. It will make you sick.
Yes.
And
it will manifest in the body. Absolutely. And the body already, the cells in the body already remember every single experience you've ever had, as does the unconscious mind. It's like a filing cabinet and it has no judgment and it will file every single experience you've ever had so that if the conscious mind needs to access it, it can. It's incredibly powerful. Yes. But what happens too is that we have these experiences and they could be traumatic experiences. We squash down the emotion because we don't want to feel it, or we've been told we shouldn't feel it. Little boys don't cry, be a big girl, et cetera, et cetera. And we're not taught as children how to process it. We're told to stop. So we learn to squash it down. And then over time, that is a toxicity in and of itself, all of that pent up, squashed down emotion.
Yes. And let me ask you, because people don't, I don't know if you've done, I have a book that talks about the attitudes, the behaviors, the mindset, and there are specific mindsets that trigger certain conditions in the body,
Absolutely.
like hardening of the arteries can be contributed to hardening of the heart.
Right.
Okay. So,
Yes. And there's specific, the different diseases that mainstream medical might look at and say, oh, this is the disease, so here's this drug. They're also linked to areas and organs in the body, right? They're
yes.
connected back. And then what does that mean? What's the emotion? What's going on that's created that? And understanding that is really helpful because we can use different modalities. The one that I really like is timeline therapy to release all of that stuff down emotion and release it at the root. And it's not that you'll never feel emotion again. We want you to feel your emotion. We want you to process it, but we release all what's pent up and it's become baggage for you. We get rid of it and we release the limiting beliefs too. And I love hypnotherapy as well. That's my favorite modality because it's so powerful, tapping into the unconscious mind. When we use hypnotherapy, we're actually using the whole mind together. We're actually.
Now, are you certified in that as well?
I am. I
Okay.
am. And I now teach it as well so that people can have this skill for themselves. They can learn self-hypnosis from me, or if it's a practitioner or a coach that wants to use it one-to-one with clients, they can do training to become certified from me as well.
All right. Now, Yvette, I'm so grateful for all of your comments, Lisa. She's saying grown men who are still little boys who did not grieve or was told to let it go, so wrong. Give everyone permission to grieve and just allow them to be a human that's being. I love that. A human that's being. I
So
love it.
true.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that feedback.
So true. So very true. So I was talking about hypnotherapy and being able to access 100% of our mind all at once, right? And this is such a powerful modality and it uses the state of trance. And we're in trance all day long, every single day. In fact, 95% of our day we're in trance. Have you ever driven from point A to point B and you get to point B and you realize,
how did I get there?
Yeah, right? We've all done that, right?
Yes.
Maybe you do this. I can't find my phone anywhere. Johnny, have you seen my phone? We've done that.
Where are my glasses? Where are my
The
glasses?
glasses on top of the head, right?
Oh, they're right on your face.
We're in trance, right? And so our brain and our unconscious mind already knows how to go into trance. But with hypnotherapy, we're using suggestions of the life we want, the outcome we want, the behavior we need to change in order to make that happen. And it's like this. It's very, very quick when we go direct into the unconscious mind. And so I like to ask people, what trance are you in? Are you in a trance of I can't? Are you in a trance of I'm going to get sick because so-and-so, my relative, got sick? Are you in a trance of, ill health? Or do you want to be in a trance of health, of passion, of joy, of happiness, of mission, of service? Because you can get into that trance too, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately, going back to the medical system, that unfortunately doctors are putting fear into people, especially when they're telling them things like, your mother had breast cancer, your sister had breast cancer, you're going to get breast cancer. Because that's what starts running around in the back of that person's mind.
And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. They get hypnotized into believing that they're going to get breast cancer. And so it happens because our unconscious mind gives us what we ask for.
Yes.
And we don't realize that this is happening because it's entirely unconscious.
Yes. And I have some commercials I've got to play. And Lisa says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And that is so true.
It's
that
very
is so true. And I need to pause for the cause and come back because we could talk without any interruptions whatsoever. But unfortunately, I do have to do this. So we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, and I want to share with you about CTR Media Network. Have you heard? CTR Media Network is a new standard of podcasting with over 30 plus podcasters. We reach 350 million global listeners worldwide in over 50 plus countries across all major podcasting and social media platforms. We have featured over 1,000 guests. What we specialize in is helping business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and fellow podcasters expand their visibility on our platform. We're all about positioning with visibility, connections, and teaching you how to monetize what you do. Let me tell you something. If you're a business owner, we have sponsorships opportunities. We have commercials. We also have opportunities for you to be a featured guest on any of our shows. So what are you waiting for? CTR Media Network is who we are, and this is where you need to be. So go to CTRmedianetwork.com and click our store feature so that you can see which opportunity fits your life and your budget so that we can get started working with you today.
CTR Media Network. And let me say, I am a part of that network, and it is awesome. It's a training ground. It is a way to look at how to monetize what it is that you're doing. Speaking of monetization, let me say to you, I need your support, and I'm asking you to please donate and contribute to the Vera Thomas Show. And you can do that by going to Cash App, $ in Still Great, or PayPal or Zelle, the Vera Thomas Show 1117@gmail.com. Help me help this program be even bigger and better. So please support what I'm doing. And also, as Dr. Tina mentioned about sponsors and commercials, if you're interested in advertising or becoming a sponsor on my show or any of the shows that are on CTR Media Network, please DM me in my Facebook, on my Facebook page, The Vera Thomas Show, or Instagram or LinkedIn. Would love to have you as a sponsor or to advertise on my show. All right, now back to what we're talking about.
So I would just love to ask you a question, actually.
Yes. Okay.
Are you aware that the average North American is spending their last 10 years in a nursing home?
I know there's a lot of people in the nursing homes, and
10
I
years.
did the last 10 years of their lives.
That's
Oh my
average.
God.
Average.
Oh my
To me,
goodness.
that is tragic.
It is.
Wouldn't all those people rather be able to live their life absolutely fully right to the end, like my grandmother? I mean, I know that's what I want, right?
And me too, and I am a senior citizen, and even one of my concerns is moving into a senior citizens building, because I don't want to be around a bunch of sick old people. I just don't, because you become what you are around.
Yes, you are the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now you can move in and still spend time with other people, right? You don't have to spend time with the sick people. My mom moved into a senior living home about 10 years ago now, actually, and she's now 78. So she moved in around 68. She's still fully mobile. She's not on any medications. She's like you, really healthy. And she's made some really good friends in there, and they travel together. So, they go to
awesome.
shows together. They go for lunch together. So yes, there's people in there that are more elderly and sicker and that are dying, but there's people in there that are choosing to make a life there and have friendships and have community. So find one where
encouraging. That's encouraging.
Yes.
That is.
I do want to say that for the nursing homes, which isn't senior living, it's different. A nursing home is where you need, care, 24/7 care, or at least around the, 12 hours care. And the cost of that right now is $108,000 US per year. And by 2030, which is only 7 years away, it's expected to be $141,000 US per year. Who has that kind of money to spend on the last 10 years of your life when you're not even aware of necessarily of who's coming to visit you? You're not able to do the things that you want to do. So I love to invite people to invest in your health now. The programs that I offer are programs that are addressing your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. So we're looking at all 4 bodies. to ensure that you have that longevity and you don't have to spend 10 years in a nursing home. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way we've been set up to believe, right? When we follow the mainstream model of eating the processed food, waiting to get sick, going to the doctor, expecting them to heal us, and not realizing that we can take responsibility for our health now.
Absolutely. And, like as an example, I have eliminated white sugar from my diet altogether, either as honey or raw sugar. I don't, and dairy, I'm lactose intolerant, so I use almond milk or silk milk. Those things, and you can tell the difference when you're doing that.
Yes, absolutely. And dairy is highly inflammatory. Gluten is highly inflammatory. Remember what I said about your inflammation levels and triggering disease, right? It's not the cause. It's not the root cause of disease. I have seen that written in places. Inflammation isn't the root cause because I want to ask what's causing the inflammation, right? But it can be the combination of dairy, of gluten, sugar, highly inflammatory. And many of us are highly deficient in omega-3s, which are our anti-inflammatory essential fatty acids, because we're getting so many omega-6s through all that processed food, right? And as a result, our body thinks that we're deficient in omega-3. The best source of omega-3s, good quality omega-3s, are wild fatty fish. Salmon, rockfish, catfish, anchovies, sardines, oysters. People aren't eating that 3 to 4 times a week, right?
And I
so
love
we
salmon.
are deficient.
Yes, I absolutely love salmon. And I could eat it almost every day.
And I'm very fortunate. I'm on the west coast of Canada, so I do have easy access to salmon, and I do eat it a lot.
I love it.
Not everybody does. And even though I eat it a lot, I still supplement with omega-3s because I run my labs and I see where my levels are, and I need that extra bit of supplementation to bring my levels exactly where I want them to be. And
Now,
here's an interesting fact. Go ahead.
Is that something that you also do for your clients, their labs, or encourage them to run their labs?
I do. So I run functional medicine labs, and they get mailed to people's homes. And then you follow the instructions, you do the lab, you mail them to the lab, and then I get the results. I review them with you over Zoom. It couldn't be easier because it's so much more comfortable to do the lab sitting in your own home than have to make an appointment and go to a clinic where other people are sick and you're not even sick and you don't want to get their sickness, right?
Wow.
So I do. And what I don't diagnose, I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose, I don't cure. What I do is I'm looking for the imbalances. I'm looking for the deficiencies. High stress has us burning through our minerals and vitamins as the body's trying to keep up. And if we're not replenishing them, we become depleted. Then we start dragging our butt. We're feeling exhausted and tired, et cetera, and we're wondering why. It's because our body's not getting what it needs. So that's what I'm looking for, these deficiencies, so that I can then help people replenish what the body needs. Or toxicities. I've talked about that already, but there's other kind of toxicities like candida overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth, right? As well as heavy metal toxicities. I can see all of that in labs, and we need to help the body remove all of that as well. So these labs are very different to the labs you get through your mainstream doctor. You still want to do the blood work with your mainstream doctor and do it every year, because then you can get early warning signs if things start to shift, right? But having all of this additional information about your body, where it's at, your deficiencies, your hormonal imbalances, et cetera, just gives you so much more information about your body so that you know how to optimize your health.
That's amazing. And I need to do another commercial. I hate this. I mean, this is so important. Okay, commercial. Sound money benefits. If you're concerned with, we have auto insurance, we have health insurance, but we don't have financial insurance. And with our economy the way that it is, and I'm not trying to stoke fear or any of that, but we know what's happening with our banks. Our dollar is only worth 3 cents. So, what are you doing to secure your money and secure your income and to leave a legacy for your family? Well, you need to check out Sound Money Benefits. In fact, there is a 30-minute presentation tonight at 8:30, right after this show, that I'd like to invite you to. And in so doing, if you indicate that you heard it on the Vera Thomas show, you can get a free silver coin. So the Vera Thomas show and Sound Money Benefits. Hope to see you at the presentation tonight. You go to www.gwgzoom.com and the password is freedom. All right. All right. All right. Now, I do have a couple other more commercials that I need to share. Let me just go ahead and run a couple more, and then we can finish our conversations without any more interruptions. So give me 1 second here.
We want to give a shout out to our CTR Media Network sponsor, Terry Coleman from GlobalKeyCapital.com. Global Key Capital is a lender specialized in customized financing solutions. They pride themselves in being one of the industry's most reliable and proven lending groups. At Global Key Capital, their customers are their number one priority, and they strive to provide all of their clients with competitive pricing, unbeatable customer service, and stress-free processing. If you are looking for your next dream home or investment property, give Terry Coleman a call at 866-325-6267. Again, that number is 866-325-6267. GlobalKeyCapital.com.
Diamonds and emeralds and pearls, oh my. Diamonds and emeralds and pearls, oh my. Sapphire Emerald Magazine truly knows the gifted and talented people.
Sapphire Emerald is a magazine that represents the diversities of the world's news. We believe in presenting people in a positive light and helping the public see them in a different perspective. We report on entertainment, nonprofit organizations, film producers, actors, actresses, culinary arts, fashions, and the positive principles of understanding art. Our mission is to bring people's spectacular talents into focus and allow them to sparkle like the precious emeralds, diamonds, pearls, and sapphire stones.
Estelle, California, and I just want to say how grateful and honored I am to be on the cover of Sapphire Emerald magazine for the March issue. Their story says Estelle.
If you are interested in having more visibility and you want to be showcased in the Sapphire Emeralds magazine, email them today at sapphireemeraldmagazine@gmail.com. And then, of course, CTR Media Network. You go to ctrmedianetwork.com. And San Pete Financial Services. You might want to check them out. You do want to check them out as well, especially if they are investors. They can help you build your business, fund your business, fund any type of projects that you may have. SanPeteFinancials.com. All right. Now, we've got about 10 minutes. And I want you, there's so much to talk about. Oh my goodness. This, you know what? And the more I hear you talk, the more I'm saying, Vera, you got to get in touch with her. I need to be in touch with you because there's several points that you've made that I really, really, really need to focus on. I really do. And I recognize. So anyway, all right, back to you.
So I want to come back to that cost of the nursing home, right? And invite people to consider taking proactive choice to invest in their health now. Because when you do that, you're going to pay for your health, and you either pay now or you pay later. That cost later in the nursing home is actually far, far higher than the investment you make now. And then you get those 10 years back, right? Because you've looked after your health to a point where you get to live fully, vibrantly right till the end. And I love to say health is your true wealth. I also love to say your health is your greatest asset. And most people think of their greatest assets as their home or their car, depending where they're
Or
at.
their children.
And children aren't our monetary assets. So I'm going to go to the monetary. If the engine light in your car comes on, you will do what it takes to get it fixed. When that engine light comes on, you're calling the service station to get it serviced to find out what's wrong. And you might get a bill and you weren't intending to pay that bill, but you find the money to make it happen because you need your car. Your house, you vacuum it, you take out the garbage, you renovate, you fix things when they break. You find the money to do it. You replace the dishwasher, the washing machine, whatever it is, right? If people had the same desire and understanding of their health and did the same thing for their health, we wouldn't have as much of the illness that we have in the world today. People would be learning how to not have that illness. And that is what I want for people, is for people to realize you have control. And when you invest in your health up front, you don't end up in the nursing home down the road. And
so let me ask you. So for someone that may be like in their 60s already, is it too late?
No, it is never too late. And that's what I love about the human body, right? It is never too late. And I work with a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, 70s even, because they kind of feel like time's running out. And I want to make sure I don't end up in that nursing home. And I want to make sure that my health is good so that I can live fully. And that's fabulous. I also work with people that are in their late teens and early 20s. And I love that because they're learning at such a young age this knowledge that they will have for their whole life, that they can teach to their children. And they're learning to invest in their number one asset. Because if you don't have your health, what do you have? You can't even drive your car to work. So what's the point in having a car?
Exactly.
Right? You need your health first and foremost. And so that's why I love teaching this. I love empowering people in their health. It's a shift in mindset. I know many of us have been raised that you don't have to worry about your health. You get sick, you go to the doctor, they'll make you better. That's all you have to do, right? Except that's a lot of responsibility to put on another human being.
Yes.
It's not their responsibility to make you better. It's your responsibility to look after your health. And it's not working. Look at all the chronic illness we have in the world today. Right now, it's 6 in 10 Americans have one chronic illness. 4 in 10 have more than one. We have so much chronic illness, and chronic illness is a lifestyle disease. We can come back from chronic illness. We can change it up because, again, the human body is so forgiving. When we discover the toxicities and remove them, when we discover the deficiencies and we resolve that, the body starts healing. The problem is it can't heal right now because it's so depleted.
Yes.
So we need to bring it back into a place of balance, and then it will heal itself. So chronic illness is not a life sentence. It is simply a dis-ease of the body, and we can bring the body back into ease.
Yes.
It will heal itself.
Yes. Now let me say, ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to Melissa Deely. She is the integrative health practitioner and registered health coach. You can reach her at melissa@yourguidedheartjourney.com. Please get in touch with her. You can also find her on Instagram, Your Guided Health Journey. Also on LinkedIn, and Facebook. Get in touch with her because our health, if we don't have our health, we don't have our life, period. Our health is our wealth. All right. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you. And I just want to share that we've been led to believe, even hypnotized into the belief that as we get older, we should feel worse. So when we start having aches and pains, we start to have less mobility. We believe it's normal. I'm getting older. We blame it on age. Symptoms are actually our body's way of talking to us, asking us to do something differently, like you heard me say right at the very beginning of this session. So we need to get curious and say, what do I need to be doing? Why do I have this symptom? And stop ignoring it and pushing through and stop writing it off as aging or seasonal allergies, right? Or genetics, because it's none of those things. It's an opportunity to get curious and to change something so that you can have that symptom go away. Masking it with a pharmaceutical drug doesn't work. Because guess what happens? The body goes, thanks, but that's not what I wanted. So it gives you another symptom. And then you go to the doctor and they give you another drug for the second symptom.
Right. And I want to say something about that. It amazes me. I mean, I know people that are on 10 medications that they take every single day. And they take one for one thing, but then that thing causes something else that they need medication for. Figure out what's wrong with you and let the body heal itself.
Exactly. And that can be dangerous. First of all, when I work with my clients, if they are on a few medications, I can work with them. And I always have to do check-ins with pharmacists to make sure that any of my plant-based protocols are allowed with their medications. When people are on 6, 8, 10 or more medications, it very often means that even though they've run their labs with me, they know what the problem is, they can't do my protocols because there's conflict with their medications. Now, what we can do, don't feel like, oh, that's me and there's nothing I can do. I have a wonderful partner. Her name is Dr. Melissa Balazan, another Melissa. She's a concierge pharmacist, and her entire business is around helping people come off their medications in a safe way. And together we help people first come off the medications as we then start healing the body. Yes. So there are solutions for everyone. You have to want that, right? You have to want to look after yourself and get off the meds. And a lot of people do.
And in addition, if your doctors, all they want to do is prescribe medications, you might want to find another doctor.
Yes.
Because my doctor, they were concerned that I might have borderline high blood pressure. And I said to my doctor, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do without having to take medication? And she's an Indian doctor from India. And she said to me, well, in our culture, we use turmeric a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that can help with lowering your blood pressure. I took her advice. I don't have high blood pressure anymore. So, I mean, without the medication. So again, if your doctors, if all they want to do is prescribe medicines to you, find another doctor.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to throw that out.
And I love that you asked, what else can I do? And some doctors will give you answers and some won't because they're not necessarily trained in that, right? But that's where, if it doesn't feel right to you, listen to your body and then seek out someone on the holistic side that can give you options as well. So it's, very, very important that you understand that you have options and it's not just take this medication and then keep going. Because I have a client that I'm working with who is on about 8 medications.
Wow.
And it was actually only when I had her checking the ingredients with her pharmacist of my plant-based protocol against her medications that the pharmacist actually noticed that the bigger problem was the two of the medications she were on were causing conflict. Yeah. And so she said, I'm so grateful that you had me go through this process because that was dangerous.
Yes.
Right? And it's the same doctor that prescribed all of it.
Yes, and we're out of time. Oh my God. Well, listen, I'm going to have you come back.
I'd love to come back.
It's been a long time coming, but we need you to come back because this is so important. It is so important. So please get in touch with Melissa. You can find her on LinkedIn. Instagram, Facebook. You can contact her at, tell them.
Melissa at yourguidedhealthjourney.com.
Yes. And Yvette said, great program indeed. Thank you both. Thank you, Lisa, for listening. And I want to say to our listening audience, please be cognizant of the foods you're putting into your body. Be cognizant of the things you're putting into your minds. And be cognizant of your spirit being, because all those things intertwine and interrelate. Melissa, thank you so very much for being on my show. I'm going to ask you to hold on a few minutes as I close out. Listening audience, thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
The Vera and Tommy Show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk